Hello, and welcome to Anime Audio Commentary. Today I'll be commenting on Episode 5 of Code Geass R2. If you'd like to watch along, then start watching now. So last we left off, Lelouch really stuck his neck out to help a lot of the loyalists of the Order of the Black Knights, and in doing so, he basically prevented their execution and avoided wider conflict. And he sort of got Rollo on his side too, although that's not entirely clear at this point. Rollo's loyalties are still clearly divided, and Lelouch doesn't really care for him in any meaningful way other than he's kind of useful for now. So I guess the question is, what next? Because Lelouch has essentially succeeded monumentally when the odds were against him, so now he's kind of got to consolidate on everything, right? And I guess there's also the issue of still having to maintain a bit of secrecy. Yeah, that is something, because everyone's still sort of under the impression that he's still under the effects of the Emperor's Geass, and therefore, docile and not involved. Yeah, things are starting to get real interesting. And I guess it's nice that all the loyalists are sort of back in action now and, not under immediate threat of execution. But, some people made it, but not everyone. So it's kind of bittersweet when you get down to it. Ooh. So it seems like there's a bit of dissension. They're under the impression that he has betrayed them. And I don't know why they're getting the idea that Zero betrayed them. I mean, he did sort of disappear for a little while, but that wasn't really betrayal per se, although I understand why they would perceive it. Alright. So I guess the more military-minded are like, yeah, Zero had his reasons. He didn't tell us everything for a reason, so, now's the time to trust him and stand behind him. I can understand why some people would rankle at that idea, but it's kind of the unfortunate reality that not everyone needs to know everything. It's probably a good thing that Ogi made it out, considering that he seems to be sort of, a decent barometer for the morality and the morale as a whole of the Black Knights. So with the title of the episode Night of the Rounds, I guess it only makes sense that Suzaku would be something of a focus, but it's interesting that he's being readmitted. You know, I guess it makes sense. We hadn't really seen him, so, you know, he would have been on leave or something like that, but to be readmitted, you know, at a time like this, that's kind of suspicious. Because, you know, with Zero out and about and doing things, it's only natural to suspect Lelouch. And I guess the worst part is that things are certainly different now. Because Suzaku knows about Lelouch and what he was up to, and he's still, as I understand it, under the effect of the Geass. You know, I see no reason why that would have worn off. So things are getting a little bit interesting. I guess I'm just wondering if Suzaku has it in him to sort of treat Lelouch, you know, reasonably while he's under the impression Lelouch is not himself. Although it seems like Suzaku, you know, he doesn't really remember Zero or Nunnally or anything like that. Wow, okay. You know, I guess it makes sense that the Emperor would have to Geass everyone to sort of excise certain bits of reality, but for Suzaku to not remember Lelouch being Zero, or to remember Nunnally, or that he's a Britannian prince, like, it really is just resetting everything. And I'm not sure how I feel about that. I mean, I guess it's been demonstrated to me that things have worked out so far, but I don't know. I think it would have been a little bit more interesting if Suzaku was sort of forced to play nice with someone who he assumes to be an amnesiac while, you know, harboring ill will towards him. Now, I guess it is interesting that everybody else just sort of knows about Suzaku's reputation. You know, the idea that he's the White Reaper, as they call him, the pilot of the Lancelot and all that. I feel like the cat Arthur biting Suzaku is probably indicative that some people still remember the past. But yeah, I don't know. Like, why would you bother Geassing a cat? Man, so Suzaku's really in a high position to be referred to as Lord. Like, he really is changing things from the inside, supposedly. But, man, the plot's getting interesting because Rollo, you know, he's sort of on the fence about things too. You know, he could very well betray the Britannian Empire. Although, it's not like it would do him any good in the long run, seeing as how Lelouch is probably willing to let him twist in the wind if it comes down to it. Ooh. So, Rollo's just asking point blank, like, do you want me to kill Suzaku? And frankly, I don't know if such a thing would work. Seeing as how Suzaku has been instructed to live, you know, I feel like if it were to work, Rollo would really just have to get the drop on him, use the Geass, and then just, you know, make quick work of him. But can one Geass override another? I don't know. That's very interesting, and I don't know. I feel like if I'm wondering about this now, it's probably going to come up later at some point. You know, that seems to be something that's happened one or two times with Code Geass. And you know, not to toot my own horn, I don't think I'm exceptionally sharp or anything. I think Code Geass is just pretty good at seeding little ideas here and there that they want you to think about. So I reckon this guy is another Knight of the Round, and that would make sense given his nice ornate nightmare frame. Now, I'm wondering, why precisely is he clashing with the these royal guards. I mean, maybe they're not royal guards per se, but they're the sort of nightmare frames that Cornelia's guards use. So, ooh. Okay, so this guy is even special so far as the Knights of the Round go. If he's, as they call him, a Knight of 3, presumably one of the 3 best. But that doesn't really explain what's going on here. I mean, good on these guys for just rushing right into a fight, but, they're probably not in a position to do much of anything against him. Alright. So, they know each other and they're reasonably friendly, which I guess makes sense considering they are, compatriots, fellow knights and all that. Okay, so now there are more people. I can only assume this Anya character is another Knight of the Round as well. She has, a nightmare frame named Mordred. This is indicative to me that she's probably pretty dangerous. With Suzaku's Lancelot and Mordred. I'm pretty sure there was a Gawain at some point. Very Arthurian in nature. I was never super informed on the Arthurian legends and all that, but there certainly is a depth to it. Now, speaking of depth, it seems like we're sort of leaving that by the wayside for now with a big old annual school festival. And judging by previous school festivals, something's gonna go down here, and it's probably not gonna be good. I mean, for now, things are just nice and easy. People are acting as students, just doing the things they're preparing for, but... I'm wondering what Lelouch's game is here, saying like, hey man, don't hurt yourself by holding a knife dangerously like that. Ooh. So it seems like, Lelouch is already getting the good inside information if Rollo is willing to divulge the weakness of his Geass. It's rather telling that we don't actually hear what that is, but I feel like it's going to come up sooner rather than later. And frankly, I'm a little curious to know what it is, because it seems, pretty decently powered. Like, I feel like, you wouldn't know how to deal with it, and you likely wouldn't survive it anyways. Now, interestingly, as Lelouch was walking by that little, part on the roof, there are all those scratches, and that indicates to me that that poor girl he Geassed early on, she's still just... scratching marks in the wall. Which, that is deeply unfortunate for her, because, she's just gonna do that for life now, apparently. Huh. So, C2, she's just wandering around when she probably shouldn't be. Whoa, buddy. Okay, well, wow, that derails my train of thought for, Villetta to just, dress up in a swimsuit like that when she's ostensibly a teacher. Whoa, buddy. So, C2, she's aware the Emperor is after her and that Lelouch is effectively the bait, but if she were to know that, just sort of going out in public is, probably not a good idea. I can't say that's remarkably advisable on her part. So, it's interesting that... Ooh. Okay, so there's this marriage between Earl Lloyd and the president. I don't remember that at all. But... Ooh. Okay, so the plot's thickening, you know, there's this thing about a giant pizza, and, you know, the Ganymede, and that stupid kid Arthur stole Euphemia's, like, quill pen. Like, you know, Suzaku wasn't exactly getting along with the animal. I feel like he's probably gonna wring its neck now. Perhaps undeservedly, but if that pen's the only thing he has left of Euphemia, like... Whoa, buddy, that's not good at all. And so now C2's bringing up V2, who is a character we've seen briefly. You know, like this character sort of abducted Nunnally at the end of the first part, but we haven't really heard much in regards to any of that since. Alright, so understandably, Lelouch can't, like, admit he was just hanging around with C2, especially seeing as how she shouldn't be around, but to sort of engineer some time alone with Shirley, things are gonna escalate, I feel like. Oh boy. So, the plot's thickening. You know, I feel like Shirley and Callan are disposed to disagree with one another. You know, I feel like they're sort of ideologically in conflict, but man, it seems like things are just sort of spiraling all out of control. And frankly, like, Lelouch can't do anything about this, you know? Because, like, you have a mascot fighting with Shirley, you have C2 in with the tomatoes, and... You know, like, no one can really see her, right? Like, that's how things would, you know, start really going off the rails. Man, I can't believe the pizza's gonna get ruined again. Like, that certainly seems what this is gearing towards. Although, you know, like, this might be the good ending, you know, suppose C2 gets, like, minced up in the tomatoes for the pizza sauce, like, that might be better. I mean, I say that, but now, boy, she's just getting shaken around, like, that's gotta hurt, you know. It's never a good thing when you're in a giant container of tomatoes. It's even worse when you start getting shaken around vigorously. Man, so it seems like everybody's just sort of having their own case of mistaken identity. You know, Rivals doesn't know who's piloting the thing. You know, it's not Suzaku, and I feel like this person's far more reckless. But, you know, worse yet, like, C2's in there, so... Like... Even to the uninformed, if she were to just, you know, pour out onto the pizza, like, that would be something. But to those who do know, like, you know, that's not good either. Ooh. So it's rather unfortunate that Villetta would pick now to bump into someone. Yeah, there's all sorts of people involved at various levels here, and I feel like the only possibility is out-and-out conflict. Ooh. So Kellen's putting the puzzle pieces together that Villetta and Ogi were together. And it seems like this is news to Lelouch. Oh dear. So, you know, we know that Villetta was amnesiac, but, oh man. Like, this implicates Ogi, and that's not good, because he is loyal. So is this it for Villetta then? Is Rollo just gonna, like, pop her in the head, or what? Okay. So I feel like this is better, actually, that Lelouch is trying to turn her instead. That's certainly preferable, because I think Valletta's an interesting character. You know, she adds an interesting dynamic to things, and if she were to just be, liquidated for want of a better term, that would be rather unfortunate. Now that said, I don't expect she's just willing to go along with things. I figure, maybe similar to Rollo, she's going to be conflicted about her new station in life. But I don't know, I'd rather just leave her in the mix to cause trouble. And I guess speaking of causing trouble, for Suzaku and Lelouch to meet up in a secluded place, something's likely gonna happen here, and it's probably not a good thing. Ooh. So Suzaku's making it pretty clear that, he has greater and greater ambition. So I guess in a interesting moment of clarity, Lelouch realizes that, their goals are sort of one and the same in that they both seek to protect Japan. However, they're going at it from the opposite direction. That's interesting that Suzaku would seek to do away with Zero by doing his job for him, essentially. Ooh. It's never a good thing when the Governor General's seemingly talking about Lelouch by name. Oh. Wow. For Nunnally to become the Governor General. Oh boy. I have no idea what to make of this. Alright, well that's it for this episode. If you've enjoyed it, then by all means, tune in for the next one. See you, Space Cowboy.